Hey everybody, Dave again. This is the second video relating to your audio journals. The first video looked at the basics of setting up the recorder, and this video looks at actually doing the assignment. So before we get started on making a recording, I want to say just a couple of words about the assignment. This audio journal assignment is meant for you to reflect on your college experience and on your life as a college student. So please, we encourage you to be honest. We encourage you to be yourself. We want you to know that this is very safe. Anything that you say in here, it's not like it's going to be graded or we're going to think negatively about anything that you say about college or your life or whatever the case might be. And again, be yourself. It is okay to ramble. It is okay to talk for 2 or 3 minutes in ways that aren't quite making sense and then find something that is making sense. Just talk into the microphone. And when you do that, when you talk into the microphone, you're going to put on those headphones. First of all, remember, we always want to record with headphones. And you are going to be just sitting here and just talking and answering some questions. Okay? The first thing that I will encourage you to do before you make the recording is to make a test recording. And the way that you'll do that is just a reminder from the first video. You want to hit record. You've already turned on the recorder, remember the on button and things like that, again covered in the first video. You want to hit record, look out for that blinking red light. It looks good, but it's not recording. You have to see the numbers up here, and you have to have that MIC light lit up here. And then just make a test recording. And a lot of times people will just do things like say the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or you can just say test, test, test. You're looking for the numbers, the lines to be about -6. If it's a little lower than that, don't worry about it. It does not have to be perfect, but roughly at -6. If you see this, if you see that red light blinking, that means you're talking too loudly for the recorder, and that sound will be bad sound and we can't fix it. So you always want to make sure you're around -6, that red light isn't blinking. The recorder should be held about this far from your face. If your recording seems a little loud, you can slide it a little bit further away from your face. But you want it close to you. And you want to make sure you never set this recorder down on a table and record that way. It won't sound nearly as good. It's tempting to do that, I know. But hold it like you're holding a microphone. Robert can sort of get my position. I use it. I just set my elbow right on my knee and I just talk. And again, remember, it's really about just talking and exploring. There's no right answers. You don't want to be feeling like you're trying to answer the question correctly. So that's the basics of making the actual recording. Each week, you will be given an assignment sheet. A lot of the assignment sheet will be exactly the same. But down at the bottom, you will see the questions for each week. And we usually ask you to answer like 4 out of 6 questions. All right? And so you'll see this here. And we do have, I'm going to stop my recording by the way, and we do have a procedure that we ask you to use for each question. So like question number 1 for week 1 is, what brings you to college? What are your hopes and dreams for college? So when I start to make a recording like that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my recorder. I've already done a test recording, so I know about that my level's about right. Okay. And by the way, one thing about recording level, it should always be about 80. And remember, the recording level is set over here. And I'm assuming that says about 80. But if you always want to make sure that recording level is about 80. That's talked about in video 1. But I've done my test. I have my recording level set. And for each question, we ask you to start with the same kind of statement. And we ask you to introduce yourself and say what week it is. And then just start talking about the question. So for question number 1, I might say, hey everybody, this is Dave, and today I'm going to talk about what brought me to college. And then I am just going to talk, and really just let yourself talk. You might have prepared this a little bit in advance, but don't write it out and try to repeat what you've written out in most cases. You can do it however you want, but we encourage you just to reflect. So I'd say, hey everybody, this is Dave, it's week 1, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what brought me to college. Now in my case, what brought me to college in a sense was I didn't know what else to do with my life. I watched my father. This is true, by the way. I watched my father. He was a truck driver, and that worked. It was a good way to make a living for him, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I wasn't particularly good at fixing things, but yeah, I did take one high school class where I really started to like accounting. I thought maybe I'll try accounting. I wasn't a good high school student. In fact, I was a terrible high school student, so I didn't know what to do with college and so forth. But long story short, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so I'm just rambling and just talking. And then I would hit stop. I've answered question number 1. Okay, question number 2 is, how did you feel when you walked into your first college class? So question number 2, I'm going to hit record, make sure it's going, and I'm going to start over. Don't worry, you're not recording over anything. And I'm going to say, hey everybody, this is Dave. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I felt when I walked into my first college class. And this is true, by the way, but for me, I was nervous. I had not really been a successful high school student. And so I wasn't really sure what to expect with college. I was very nervous about it. But I remember I walked into my first math class, and there was a professor there. His name was Ken Grace. I still remember his name 25 years ago. And he was a really unique, engaging, and encouraging person. And as the first day went on, I started to realize, wait a second, this is not going to be like high school. This is different. But it was a good different. There was an excitement in the air. And I just talk. And I might talk for 3 or 4 minutes. And when I'm done, I'm going to hit stop. And then I would move on to the next question that I want to answer. So again, have fun with this assignment. Be yourself. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Go in whatever directions that you want to go. Don't feel like you have to fix mistakes. You can just keep the mistakes right in the recording, and we'll fix the mistakes for you. If you want something edited out or whatever, if you make a mistake or you start over or whatever, we'll just get that out of that recording. I'll go ahead and stop right now. Thanks for participating in this, and we look forward to listening to your recordings. Take care.